So I've not even got in yet and I've already got games. Yeah. Shout out to Phil, legend. Much appreciated, my friend.
Right.
Hi everybody, welcome back to the Retro Ghetto. So that's right, before I'd even got inside the Birmingham retro video game market, I'd got my first game of the day, and that is courtesy to my friend Phil. Shout out to Phil. I saw him as he was queuing up outside, and he gave me this fantastic collector's edition copy of Dark Souls limited edition for the Xbox 360. Phil knows that I'm on a bit of an Xbox 360 kick right now, and I'm loving boosting my collection with collector's editions and these big box items, and yeah, this is a fantastic one to have. This comes complete with an art book, behind the scenes DVD, original soundtrack, and yeah, just a very, very nice piece to my ever-growing Xbox 360 collection. So at this point, you'd probably expect me to join Phil in the queue and wait my turn to get into the Birmingham retro game market. However, the morning did not start very well. So it was my job to get a couple of tickets for myself and Kev to get into this market. And I thought I'd done so until I woke up at 6 o'clock in the morning, went to screenshot the QR codes for entry and realised I'd messed up in a pretty big way. I'd booked tickets for Doncaster gaming market. I don't know how I managed it. I somehow got confused. I'm getting old, right? So at this point, I felt bad, but more so for Kev, because I felt like I'd let him down, because it was my job to get the tickets. But I set off about an hour later in acceptance that we were going to be going for the general entry at 1 o'clock. I bought a couple of standard tickets, which were still available. And I kind of accepted, you know what, I wasn't going to find any bargains or any fantastic deals there, but I could still go and enjoy the day hunting for games. However, on the way to Kev's, I received a call from the fantastic people over at Doorway to Darkness. Shout out to them. He knew of my plight and he said, look, I'm right at the back by the fire escape. So, you know, when you're here, let me know. I've got a couple of trader passes that you guys can get in on, which was fantastic. What that did mean was that I was able to gift Phil my original entry pass, which was, you know, the least I could do with him having gifted me this fantastic Dark Souls game. And then we kind of made our way around the back. We were bundled in the fire escape. It reminded me of my younger days, going to nightclubs and opening the fire escape for people to come in that had been denied entry. But yeah, eventually, after a bit of an up and down morning, we made it into the Birmingham retro game market. Speaking of the fantastic doorway to darkness, that's where I got my first pickup. So, as I've said a few times now, it's getting harder and harder to find Super Nintendo games that I need. I'm very close to being halfway to the full PAL set. And yeah, they did actually have one that I still needed, and that was World Cup Striker. Probably not the best game on the Super Nintendo, probably not one I'm going to be in a rush to play, but at this point, I'm delighted to find any Nintendo cardboard that I still need for my collection. So yeah, I was delighted to be able to add this. And yeah, once again, a massive shout out to Doorway to Darkness, because as I was sort of leaving and going around the venue, I could see how busy it was. And that queue outside just kept growing and growing. So yeah, they did me a massive, massive favour by getting me in that early entry. So yeah, I can't thank those guys enough. And it goes without saying, if you're ever anywhere near the Doncaster area, make sure you go and check out that fantastic shop. You will not be disappointed. And one thing I did notice as I was sort of like fighting my way through the crowds was there was a distinct lack of PlayStation 3 Essentials. I actually had about 2, maybe 3 vendors on the day laugh and joke and thank me for selling all of their stock. So yeah, there's definitely a shortage now, it would seem, of the games that previously nobody wanted. I managed to find, I think, 1 or 2 the whole fair, and one of which was one that I needed. It was sort of like on the corner of an aisle. It was tucked down lower, you wouldn't see it in and amongst some other games, and that was Mafia 2. So yeah, really happy to have finally found a game on the day, PS3 Essential, that I still need for my collection. And yeah, let me know about the Mafia games. I've heard good things about them, and it's definitely sort of right up my street. I love open world, I love that sort of gangster storyline, so it's definitely a game that I intend to play. There's also the Godfather games that I've never played, so let me know which of those 2 you would play first. But yeah, happy to add another to the PS3 Essentials set.
The working man's a sucker, that's for damn sure.
You said it.
Oh, yeah. Well, come on home to me, baby.
Vintage repro.
Yeah. From Mexico.
Good old Mexican copyright
exactly,
laws. I've never seen one so thin.
Like a video case.
Now, as is often the case at these type of fairs, a lot of games were what I would consider to be overpriced. I'm very much a bargain hunter, right? So I don't like paying over the odds no matter where I am. If something's the same price or more expensive than I can get it for on eBay, I'm not going to buy it. However, there's always bargains that you can sniff out, and there's always sellers that are willing to do a deal. Now, a couple of bargains I was able to find on the day were for the Mega Drive, and I want to give a massive shout out to Dana over at Hidden Chest Gaming. First game that I picked up was Turbo Outrun. A sequel to Outrun, this was originally released in arcades in 1989 and later ported to the Sega Mega Drive in 92. This time you drive a Ferrari F40. I mean, surely everybody's pin-up car, right? I remember being a young kid and yeah, the dream car was the Ferrari F40 without a doubt. They've also switched up the play a little bit. This time they've added a rival. It's not just yourself driving. You've also now got to outdo a Porsche 959, and it also, of course, hence the title, adds a turbo boost button. I've never actually played this version of Outrun, but I absolutely love the original, and it's just so nice to have both of these now side by side on the shelf. And I say, I want to give a massive shout out to Dana. He did me this for just £15. Now, I do want to point out that this is without manual, but I did say on a recent video that I'm sort of edging towards buying Mega Drive games without manual if the price constitutes it. I mean, CX charged like twice the price of this, I think, with a manual. So yeah, this for me is a no-brainer. Obviously, I'll take the manuals where I can, but as I've said previously, without going into too much depth, it's getting so competitive now to try and find these games with manuals that if I can pick them up cheap enough, I'm happy to do so. For me, it's about how to play the game and displaying the box art, and you don't need a manual to do either of those things. So yeah, once again, shout out to Dana. I know he was hanging. He'd had a bit of a rough night the night before, so I don't think he cared what price he gave them to me, to be honest. But yeah, much appreciated, my friend. And speaking of bargains, wow. Another store that was there was the guys from Joypad Joy and Toys, and I picked up a Mega Drive game, again with that manual, that I don't have in the collection, for £4. I mean, where are you going to find a box Mega Drive game for £4, right? Well, that's Marco's Magic Football. This just looks to be a platformer, probably similar to, I think, Soccer Kid, which I've got on the Super Nintendo. But I mean, £4, you're not going to go wrong, right? Okay, so under the watchful gaze of Spider-Man, we're taking a fresh air break, much needed. Very warm in there, very busy, and as you've seen, carrying a crate of games. I'm blaming Kev. I have taken my games out, so let's take a look at what Kev's picked up. Okay, so crate of games. Do you want to start with the ones you found that weren't part of this deal? Kiosk. This was from Dana, wasn't it? Hidden Chest Gaming.
Yeah.
Got a good deal on that, didn't you?
Yeah, 50 quid, you took it down a tenner.
Yeah, good deal. This is one you're happiest with, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, everyone gets to that point as a collector where it's the obscure stuff that excites you. Not the most expensive game you bought today, but yeah, just you don't see them very often.
No.
What's included in that then?
Them two games.
Tao Feng.
I have both those games, but not in that spot.
Yeah, nice. It's cardboard, isn't it? Something about cardboard. Love the artwork on this. This is a ridiculously...
It's deep value now.
It was a bargain. It was game complete. Okay, and then Sawthorne Games. Shout out to Sawthorne Games and Lee, top guy.
And
so this was all a pre-arranged deal, wasn't it?
Yeah. So this is from Retro Mania in Newcastle. A Master System control stick.
Yep. You've got loads of room for boxes now, haven't
Yeah.
you? So all the big box stuff you can get.
No room for boxes.
And how many people came and spoke to you about your collection, Kev? I think the people want you to start a channel, you know.
About 70, I lost count, about 70, 75. Something like 3.
How many control pads you need?
2.
Well, yeah, that makes sense.
No, but the price I got them for,
Yeah.
which I can't remember what it was.
Pass one to me.
A lot of Mega CD. It's an expensive game. That's how much that is in CX.
Right, okay.
But that's not what I paid. And it's never in stock in CX.
So how did this come about?
So Jim, my brother, lives in Newcastle. He found the store, and they've got no signage up or anything like that. They can't have signage up.
Right.
So he somehow we found it. He took a load of photographs of the stock, sent it down to me, and then I started chatting with the owner.
And just got everything that you needed.
I mean, there was a lot more, but
Hook's an expensive game on the Super Nintendo, is it? Expensive on it.
a lot of Mega. I think all the Mega CD are around about 50 quid.
I like the long boxes though.
I don't.
I prefer them like that.
There's not many that are. But
You don't see that too often, either, do you?
no.
Not a cheap game. Nice.
Manual was in the correct.
Let's not get into that again. I think if you went back and counted, most people agreed with me.
I think I don't know. Yeah, they're only agreeing with you because you are who you are.
My name on the channel.
Yeah.
And I was right. I mean, anyway.
Crappy Saturn games, but you don't come across them very often.
But no. Your Saturn collection's in, it's getting there now, isn't it?
Yeah,
It was already a strong collection. It just annoys me all the different boxes and stuff. £2 for a Saturn game.
Yeah, mental, isn't it? And I
The
can't
case
wait
would be
to play.
worth more than that, wouldn't it? And then a bit of X, and that's everything.
Yeah,
Nice.
that's it.
So on the next time, you're not going to buy any more, are you?
No.
No? Hunt, you've heard it here first.
Scouts on.
Next lap, Kev's buying nothing. Right, my games are in the car. We'll get to mum and get back to the 3.0. But a nice haul, Kev, I think we can all agree.
Yeah, worth coming.
You get home and arrange them in your room, yeah?
I'll just stick them in a box in the shed or something.
Yeah, we've been at Kev's game room recording this morning. It's in a bit of a state of disrepair. He's got the extension starting imminently. It's interesting to see the current state of Kev's game collection. But that will all be on Sunday's vlog. But for now, let's get back to the game fair.
Okay, so you've just seen Kev's extensive pickups from what was just the first lap of the market, and that morning I was able to visit Kev's game room once again. If you don't know, Kev's in the process of making his fantastic games room even bigger and even better, so I'll be bringing you all the update on that on Sunday's vlog. But the way he's going, that's going to be full before it's even built. But yeah, he's sort of had a pre-arranged deal for a lot of those games with one of the sellers there, and I was sort of able to piggyback on that a little bit. I thought, Kev, you're spending a lot of money with them. Hopefully you can hook me up with a deal on this one, right? And thankfully I was able to get a good price on this one, because this is a game that I've been after for quite some time. It's one of them games that comes in and out of stock at CEX, and yeah, definitely happy to be adding it to my collection. And that is Super Nintendo's Arkanoid. This is one of them games where the cover art gives absolutely nothing away about the game, right? But this is a Taito developed block breaking game, quite a late release on the Super Nintendo, 1997. You basically have to play your way through 99 levels of block breaking. There's not really much more I can say about it, but this is in really nice condition. I got a very good price on this, and yeah, I got it for like £40. I think CEX charged £45, £50, so yeah, really happy with that given its condition, but this wouldn't be the most expensive game I would buy on this day. So whenever I go to these events, it's always an absolute pleasure to bump into my friend Fob. Genuinely one of the nicest blokes that you will find in the toy selling, game collecting scene here in the UK. He had a couple of games that I was eyeing up when I saw him last at the Black Country Gaming Fair, and this time I decided to pull the trigger on that game. He did me a fantastic deal. This is a franchise I've been wanting to sort of get my teeth into for a long time, and the game that I picked up was Darkstalkers 3. So this is Capcom's 1998 one-on-one fighter, and this one introduced 3 new characters from the previous iterations of Darkstalkers: The Night Warriors. I don't know much about this franchise, if I'm being honest. It's not something I've ever put much time into, although I will be changing that imminently. This is known in Japan as Vampire, and it dates back to 1994. The characters are largely based on sort of like international folklore, sort of monsters and other sort of bizarre creatures. But for me, I'm a sucker for 2D games on a 3D system, and as you'll be seeing on screen, the artwork on this is absolutely stunning. It's Capcom, it's very much in that sort of Street Fighter Alpha series, and I yearn for another Street Fighter Alpha, so for me to get my teeth into a new 2D Capcom game, new to me at least, yeah, it's definitely something that I'm looking forward to. Can't wait to get this hooked up to the PS2 TV, and yeah, this is not a cheap game by any means, but Fob did me a fantastic deal on this, and yeah, very, very excited to get this one played. And he also bundled in this one. I picked this one up and he said, oh, I'll just have it. So yeah, shout out to him. And that is this Alien vs Predator Steelbook for the Xbox 360. Really nice artwork on this one, and as I've already said, right, I'm loving buying steelbooks, collector's editions, sleeve covers, all that for my 360 collection, which is ever growing, right? We might have to make some changes in here soon because we've almost filled the whole 360 area, but Absolutely loving it, and this is another great addition. So once again, massive shout out to Fob. Okay, so I think by this point myself and Kev were both ready to leave. We'd fought our way and elbowed through the crowd about 3 times, and the venue was very busy, very stuffy, very warm. But as I was leaving, as so often happens, something caught my eye, right, and pulled me back in. And there was a nice couple there, Welsh couple, and they were selling some sealed games, some more Xbox 360 goodness, and yeah, a couple caught my eye. The first one being Ferrari Racing Legends. This is actually a game that I spoke about on a previous Video Games to Invest In episode. It's not a very common game at all. And the version I got, or the copy I got from CEX, came without a manual. So for me to pick up a sealed copy was a bit of a no-brainer, because I can actually trade in my copy of this game for £10 CX voucher, so that virtually paid for this one. So I've now got a sealed copy effectively for what was an incomplete one. The guy, shout out to him, bundled me 2 sealed games together, so I only paid £15 for the 2. And this second one was one that I'd never seen before. I think this was like an Italian release, so it is part of the PAL set, so it is quite sought after by 360 full set collectors. Beautiful box art on that one, and that is Snipers. As I say, a game I'd never heard of. That box art was enough to pique my interest. Apparently it plays like Call of Duty, but with snipers only. From what I understand, it's not the best game. It's quite laggy, it does have some issues, and it is mostly sort of online based, of which you're going to be lucky if you can find anybody to play this game with you, even if the servers are still open. But yeah, I love picking up things like this, right? Just oddities. You know, it's just one of the games you're not going to see very often. I've certainly never seen it before. CEX don't stock it. And yeah, just another nice addition to the ever-growing 360 collection. And yeah, I'm really happy with my haul. If any day I can come back with Super Nintendo goodness, plus other things, is always a bonus. Was it the best fair I've ever been to? No. Was it very busy? Did they probably let too many people into a small venue, and did that affect the enjoyment? Yes. Did I have a great day? Absolutely. I mean, for me, anytime I'm out hunting video games is a great day. Especially bumping into a lot of old friends, speaking to so many people that watch the channel. Yeah, always humbling, and it's been far too long since I've seen Kev, so to see him for the first time since the madness that was the Leeds road trip, that was fantastic as well. But for me, it was a non-stop whistle tour, because once I got back, I had to get my bags packed again, because the very next day I was going to the NEC Toy Fair, which is probably the best fair I've ever been to, with probably, I'm looking now, the best pickups I've ever had as well. But all that, as well as Kev's updated room, will be coming on Sunday's vlog, so don't miss that one. Let me know if you were at the Birmingham Gaming Market. Let me know of my pickups, which was your favourite. But as always, play your games, keep it retro. I'll see you on Sunday in a bit.
You're watching the Retro Ghetto.
Ghetto.
Ghetto!
Yeah.
Come on, have a look around.